Good morning, everybody, and I just want to welcome folks to another presentation through the Plymouth County Cares program here in the beautiful town of Abington. It's hard to believe that a little more than a year ago, faced with the worldwide pandemic, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts was shut down, our communities were shut down. We didn't know what we were facing, but what we knew was that we would have significant challenges in front of us, that we would need significant resources, and that we would need to come together as a country to address the very real challenge in front of us. Not surprisingly, Congress immediately stepped to the plate with the leadership of Congressman Lynch and others in our delegation and recognized those resources needed to be significant and needed to be fast. They passed the CARES Act toward the end of March a year ago, dedicating significant financial resources back to our local communities. In another bold step, the Plymouth County Commissioners recognized that Congress had designated a portion of those resources directly to the county so they could get the monies back to communities like the town of Abington. The Commissioners created very quickly a program to make sure that that money came directly where it was needed, back to help our public safety officials, back to help our communities, back to help our schools. And we are here today to provide more resources and 2 checks to the town of Abington. I couldn't be more thrilled that we are joined with our congressional partner today, Congressman Lynch. As I mentioned, Congressman Lynch recognized immediately how important it was to get resources back to our communities. I've had the pleasure of knowing the congressman since our days on Beacon Hill, and I can tell you that there is no stauncher advocate for our communities and for our residents. I've commented, he's made every presentation we've done in his district, and I've commented that it must be interesting for him to come to these presentations because he gets to see the fruits of his labors. He works so hard for us up on Capitol Hill, but I don't know that he often gets the chance to see the results of his hard work. Well, today he gets again to see how important what he does is to each and every one of us. So I'd like to have Congressman Lynch come forward and say a few words. Congressman?
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. First of all, I want to thank our delegation here as well, Senator Keenan, Representative Sullivan. I know that the county commissioners are here in force. My colleagues in local government, this is great to be with you. I saw Alex Bezanson here earlier as well from the Board of Selectmen. This has been a real team effort, and as the Treasurer laid out, while Congress did get to appropriate and authorize the money, the difficult part was making sure it got out to local governments so that we could address the situation in the towns, like in Abington. So we're very, very grateful. The Plymouth County Commissioners have been outstanding in terms of getting the money out to the towns as quickly as possible. I think we've done it faster in Plymouth County than any area of America, and we're very grateful. So I know there are 2 checks here this morning that will be presented, but in the meantime, Congress has also passed another act, the American Rescue Plan Act, which also provides an additional $1.64 million to the town of Abington. Much of that is discretionary. We recognize that towns all across America will be in different situations. Abington has done a very good job with the help of the Plymouth County Commissioners and also with your state delegation to get a handle on vaccine distribution and other issues. However, that's not the situation across the country. So we thought it would be better to leave it to the discretion of the town in terms of what their need might be. So that $1.64 million is being rolled out. The checks won't begin to come out for about 60 days, but again, we'll probably come back with Tom at that point and announce that as well. But it's a very broad area of interest. So to open up schools, the chief is here, and there's money there for first responders. Any areas where we felt that cities and towns were making expenditures during the pandemic, we're trying to reimburse those costs. So that's the goal behind ARPA, and like I said, those checks will probably be cut within the next 60 days by the United States Treasury. But it's an enormous pleasure for me to be part of the Abington delegation. Very proud to represent the town of Abington in the United States Congress. God bless you all. Be safe, and thank you. I know this money will be spent wisely, and happy to be a small part of this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Congressman. We appreciate that. And maybe at the end, we could talk a little bit more about ARPA if that's okay, because I know those are significant resources coming as well. We really appreciate, Congressman, recognizing the hard work of the county and our county commissioners. As you mentioned, all three of our county commissioners are here this morning. Chairman Greg Hanley, Commissioner Sandy Wright, Commissioner Jared Valenzola. I'm going to ask Commissioner Hanley to just come and say a few words of greeting, because we want to recognize certainly our state partners and our local partners as well. But I know the commissioner likes to offer some greetings and some comments. So without further ado, Commissioner Greg Hanley.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer, and thank you to the town of Abington for efficiently working the program to the greatest effect. Chief, this time around, with first responders and hazard pay potentially coming out in the ARPA project that the Congressman spoke of, we have to take advantage of that so you can maximize the potential and get very innovative, similar to what the town of Hanover did with integrated health. So that's something that we can talk to you about. I'm proud to be here as well. I want to thank the Congressman, obviously, for his hard efforts down there in Washington. Without guys like that, we don't get to do what we get to do. This is an example of what collaboration on the local, federal, state, and county level can be. We recognize that the Commonwealth was in a bind, had a lot of work piled upon them, and we just stepped up because we had an educated workforce. We had people who had experience. And I think hats off to our treasurer, Tom O'Brien, because without him, we wouldn't be lauded nationally as the county with a 1% administration cost. It's the lowest in the county. We've been cited by the White House for our efforts, and it's strongly due to the efforts of this man right here. We're going to have to try to get him some help so that his blood pressure returns to normal. But having said that, it's a great day to be here in Abington, and I want to thank the town for efficiently proposing and submitting their money requests, and we've actively turned that around to great benefit. So thank you for the opportunity to be here. As the treasurer mentioned, my colleagues are here. We're together unanimously in our efforts to fight this pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman Hanley. We really appreciate that. As the Congressman and the Chairman mentioned, we can't do this without our partners at every level. And we have been so fortunate to have great partners at the State House. They have been supportive of us every step of the way. Whenever I call or any of the commissioners calls their offices, they respond immediately. They recognize that the county was an excellent partner to get monies directly back to our communities. I'm thrilled that both of our state partners are here this morning, and I'd like to invite State Senator John Keenan to come up and say a few words as well. Senator?
Thank you. Thank you, Treasurer O'Brien, and good morning, everybody. To all the local officials, local elected officials, and our great Congressman, thank you for having here, and my great partner in the House, Representative Sullivan. It's great to be here, and I don't really have much to say other than thank you. What this means for communities like Abington in particular, is that they can get back to the business of providing the goods and services and that the residents of Abington have come to expect and the residents of Abington deserve. This is critical funding that will mean a lot to public safety and to all the services and all the departments within the town of Abington. So I want to say thank you. And Congressman, this is a thank you for what you're doing for Abington and what you're doing for towns throughout your district, but it's also a thank you for what you're doing for the state. The votes that you've taken, the role that you've played in those votes, the advocacy that you've put forth in Washington has meant an enormous amount, has been enormously important for the Commonwealth itself. We look at trying to provide local aid, and it is a struggle in these times. But we can do that better than what we expected because we know there's reinforcement and there's backup at the federal level. So everybody working together, as the chair of the commissioners has said, means that there's good things happening. And I'm so thrilled to be a part of it, a very small part of it, and I say thank you. And also, kudos to the treasurer here for the work that he has done with the commissioners in administering these funds. They have done it very efficiently, very effectively, and that's to the benefit of all the towns in the county. So thank you as well. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you very much, Senator Keenan. As we mentioned, the entire delegation is here for Abington. The team is here. Having served in the State House myself for 10 years, I have a particular affinity for the House side of the legislature. And I can tell you, Representative Sullivan is a staunch advocate. She calls me fairly regularly to make sure her towns are on the list to get money. She says, when are we next? When are you going to be in Abington? Representative, we're here in Abington, as you and I talk regularly. But it's a partnership that works because they understand our role in getting resources to you. So Representative Sullivan, I know you wanted to add a few things as well.
Thank you. Good morning. I just wanted to say thank you to Congressman Lynch, of course, again, coming through for the town of Abington. Like I've said before, you are always there in the district, so we appreciate you here. I do want to thank Deputy Chief Cutter and Chief Nuttall for their hard work during a critically important time during a pandemic that nobody expected. Their response to the COVID-19 pandemic was something that was incredible. The procedures they had in place really pulled through for the town of Abington, so I want to make sure that you are recognized for that. I do want to thank the treasurer and the county commissioners for their hard work and advocacy on keeping these funds to make sure that the local towns in Plymouth County were reimbursed for the amount of money that they spent in the response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Because of your hard work, we were able to bring funds that may not have been brought to the town of Abington, to the towns of Whitman and East Bridgewater. So thank you for that. And I do want to thank Scott Limbasey for doing such a great job here in Abington and his team of hard workers to bring such strong funds to the town, and our board of selectmen as well. So thank you, and hopefully that we can continue getting some checks along the way. I will continue to call and advocate for more checks of the towns that I represent, so thank you.
Representative, absolutely. This program is ongoing. It runs through the end of the year, and we will always make sure to field your calls and bring those resources back. I'm so glad that everyone here has mentioned the team in Abington. And it's important that folks know that your team has worked exceedingly hard with the chiefs, and we do appreciate how quickly you responded to the pandemic. I'm so glad the representative highlighted that. We have 27 communities, but here in Abington, the chief stepped right up to the plate and said we need to respond. We need to respond quickly and in a fashion that helps our citizens directly. But you have a great team here in the town of Abington, from Scott to Sue to Sonia, working hard to make sure that the submissions come into the Plymouth County Cares program and that the resources are delivered back so that we can get them directly to your community. We like our boards of selectmen to know what a team they have and what a pleasure it is to work with all of them. I know that the selectmen are here. I know that the chair is here. I want to invite Chair Tim Chapin to come and say a few words about the program and the hard work here in the town of Abington. Chairman Chapin.
Thank you, Commissioner. First of all, thank you for being here. Congressman Lynch, Senator Keenan, Representative Sullivan, and thank you, Treasurer O'Brien. Thank you to the Plymouth County Commissioners for all the work that you've done facilitating the disbursement of CARES Act money. In the beginning of the process, there was a bit of skepticism on how reimbursement would work out, but Plymouth County commissioners have done an amazing job with their communities throughout the process. Next, I'd like to thank all the department heads and town employees who have been working diligently throughout the pandemic, ensuring that the citizens of Abington have continued to receive the highest level of services. Also, I want to thank the Finance Committee and accounting departments. They've worked diligently with all the other departments to track and justify the expenses the town has incurred because of the pandemic. And because of their hard work, we're able to receive the maximum amount of monies due to us from Plymouth County and Federal CARES Act funding. Finally, I want to thank our leadership team, the Finance Committee, the Board of Selectmen, Manager Limbiasi, Assistant Manager Moquin. They're working hard to ensure the financial success of our community as we round the corner and emerge from this awful time. And also, one other thing, Jared, I have my top 5 Beatles songs.
Okay. Excellent.
By date of release.
Okay.
1, She Loves You, 1964.
Excellent.
2, Yellow Submarine, 1966. Hey Jude, 1968, and Come Together, 1969.
I like it.
a little homework. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very, very much. As we've talked about, we work very hard at the county level, day in and day out. And I'm just so proud of the county commissioners for recognizing that we needed to do this. I know that they're here, and I wanted to invite Commissioner Wright up to say a few words as well and thoughts about the program. Commissioner Wright?
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and inviting us here today. Again, I want to thank Senator Keenan, Representative Allison Sullivan. I'm so glad to see you're out of your boot. And of course, Congressman, what is your name? You've been with us everywhere we've been, and I really appreciate you standing with us. It's always a pleasure to be here, and we're so glad that we were able to keep this money and bring it into our communities. And we know what it means to you, and it's necessary. And towns are really feeling the hardship and everything that's happened over the past year. And it's funny just to think that it was a year ago that this all happened to us, and we've never faced this before, and certainly taught us a lesson of what we need to do. So I just, I know everybody has already said what I had planned to say. Not much more to say. I want to thank the police chief and also the fire chief and the selectmen, and thank you very much.
Before we have our last person to comment on this, I did want to invite either of the chiefs if they wanted to add anything. I know they're on the front lines and working hard, but as always, they're interested more in doing their jobs than taking credit and kudos for that, and we do appreciate that. We've been thrilled to be joined by the newest member of the County Commissioners, elected in November. One of the challenges of being the newest member is you're last, and so I wanted to offer Representative Jared Valenzola a chance to offer his thoughts as well.
And you always call me representative, too.
Did I say that again?
Is that a promotion or a demotion? I don't know. What is it?
I leave that up to you to decide.
It's okay, you'll be pulling up the congressman's car.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. Yeah, that's right. I'll be real quick. It's wonderful to be here. I'm excited to be a part of the Plymouth County Commissioners. As I often say at these presentations, what's been a very dour and unfortunate year, Plymouth County has been happy to be able to offer just some semblance of good news. And again, to reiterate the partnership with Congressman Lynch, Representative Sullivan, Senator Keenan, to be able to collaborate and work together with them as well as the leadership team in Abington has been truly a wonderful experience so far. And we're looking forward to being back in Abington to deliver more checks, Representative. We'll be back. Tim, those are great Beatles songs. I can give you a few more as well. And last but not least, I think enough credit is never given to the work that Treasurer O'Brien, his Deputy Treasurer, and the entire team does to prepare and make sure that these funds are distributed in an equitable fashion and are done so fairly across the board and done so compliantly as well. That was the word I was looking for. So again, thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here as always, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Valenzola. We appreciate that. The moment we've been waiting for, if I could ask Scott to come forward and the selectmen to come forward, just so that the folks watching know, we have two checks, one in the amount of $599,080.88, and another in the amount of $117,414.94. Selectman Bezanson said we couldn't come with just $100,000, so we had to make sure we had both of the checks. So if we have you here and Commissioner, actually, could I have another member of the town over here? And then we'll just take a picture so that we have official record that the town has received the two checks. And then we're going to do one without me holding the check and everybody else coming up front.
We really should have Sonia up here.
Yeah,
since-
Sonia, come on.
Sonia, you're the collector?
So that part is official. We have one more thing we're going to do. I always want to see where the checks go. Excellent. That's where they should go. They should go to the treasurer. Smart move. As we mentioned, Congress has recognized that we're still dealing with this pandemic, and many of you have been following what Congress has been doing and what President Biden has been talking about with the American Rescue Plan Act, also known as ARPA. The Congressman Lynch and I had a chance to chat a little bit earlier, where I got a chance to say thank you. Thank you very much for recognizing we still needed these resources. Thank you for recognizing that it needed to come to the state, to the county, and to the individual communities directly. And I know that he wanted to say a few words about the program, just to let people know. So if we could, we'd like to have Congressman Lynch come back up and tell us a little bit about ARPA.
Thank you. Could we turn that board around? Sorry.
Sorry.
My wife actually did those bullets. So we did want to use this opportunity because we're all here together, and this was, again, part of our team effort. We consulted directly with the county, with Treasurer O'Brien. We consulted as well with the state representatives and the Senate at the State House to find out where the level of need was. We also consulted at the town level to make sure that we left no stone unturned in terms of trying to reimburse individual towns for the revenue that they would have earned but for the fact that this pandemic hit us. We lost over 250,000 businesses, small businesses, which are really the underpinnings of our economic system here in the United States. So what we did was this is part of the focus here. We put $50 billion in for small businesses. We added $20 billion in the American Rescue Plan for vaccine distribution. Some states were doing better than others, as you probably realize. There's $130 billion to try to reopen schools. And each and every state is in a different position. We seem to be doing fairly well with that. I know that a number of cities have asked for a little extra time to get teachers vaccinated, but there's also $7.6 billion for community health centers, and there's $350 billion out there to individual cities, towns, and states to help Chief Cutter and our fire department keep people on the job and make sure that they have the PPE and the resources to continue to deliver public safety services to the cities and towns. So this, as I said, this program will probably roll out in about 60 days. The checks will go to the state and then hopefully out to the counties where Treasurer O'Brien and our county commissioners will be able to help that money get out to local towns in a very expeditious manner. But I want to give great credit to President Biden for his willingness to step up and recognize that we've got about 11 million people out of work right now because of all those businesses shutting down. And if we're going to get back, to a more normal pattern of life and the economy is going to come back, we need to deal with this pandemic first and foremost. So that's the gist, and that's really the spirit in which this money has been put out. Again, we think that the local towns have a much better handle on what they need, and they have a much better ability to spend this money wisely. So happy to be part of this, and again, this is a reflection of the work of this whole team has done, and especially grateful to have such a great county treasurer in Tom O'Brien. He's a friend and a brother, and just a wonderful example of good government working at the local level. Thank you.
Congressman, thank you very much for the kind words. So that concludes our presentation here in Abington. While Abington is first, it's not our last today, so we have other places we have to go. Again, thank you to the entire team, Congressman Lynch, State Senator John Keenan, Representative Allison Sullivan, and our three county commissioners, Commissioner Greg Hanley, Commissioner Sandra Wright, and Commissioner Jaron Valenzola, for all of your hard work. And then, of course, to the entire team here in Abington for doing such a great job. We look forward to coming back. Everybody have a great day. Thank you very much.